What's up, everybody? This is Mario, and I'm back with another episode of Talking Endurance and Mastery. And today, what I want to do is share a quote that was in my gratitude journal this morning. And this is a quote that I think is very timely, and it has to do with comfort zones. So I'm going to roll the trailer, and then we're going to get into it. Do you want to complete an endurance event and elevate all areas of your life, but you don't know where to start? Then you're in the right place. Talking Endurance and Mastery is a podcast to help you create a vision and take steps towards your goals and dreams. I'm your coach, Mario Minner. I've completed events like Ironmans and ultramarathons, but I believe the true benefit from endurance events is how they help you become the best version of yourself. Join me as I share stories, lessons, and interview guests to help you apply endurance and mastery principles into every area of your life. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, so I've got a quote that I want to share with you. But first, just to set this up, the way that this quote came to me was through my gratitude journal. And I've talked about this on the podcast, but every morning I start my day by just writing in my 5-minute journal. And this is a journal that it starts with just a quote of the day, and then it asks 3 questions. One is, what are you grateful for today? And you list out 3 things. Then it asks, what would make today great? And it lists out 3 things. And then there's a place for you to write your affirmations, an I am, and then whatever power statement that you have. And today's quote really spoke to me because it's something that I've actually talked about previously around comfort zones. And I want to share that with you. So the quote is, life begins at the end of your comfort zones. So again, it's life begins at the end of your comfort zones. And this quote speaks to me for a couple of different reasons, and it's just kind of timely. First, it is Saturday morning at the time of this recording, and I'm actually going to be traveling out of town, and I'm heading to Madison, Wisconsin, which is where I'm from, for the Ironman, Wisconsin, because I've got a couple of friends and one of my clients who is competing in Ironman, Wisconsin, and I want to be there with him. Now, because of that, I typically have my long runs as I'm training for Everesting and the 50 miler. I usually have those on Saturday mornings, but because I am going to be traveling this morning, I had to get my long run yesterday after work. So this weekend, I was supposed to do an 18-mile run, which was the longest run that I've been on in probably over 2 years. And that was hard. It definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. I ran so far that I actually outlasted my Apple Watch. The Apple Watch died like 13 or 14 miles into it, and I had gotten home and I needed to do another 4 miles. And there were so many parts of me that were just like, you know what? 13 miles is pretty good. You can just kind of call it a day. It's a Friday night. You don't need to keep going and run another 4 miles. But I ended up just doing 4 loops around my neighborhood right by my house. And I finished around 18 miles. And those last 4 miles were the ones that really pushed me outside of my comfort zone, because that there's always that little voice in your head that wants to keep you in your comfort zone. That little voice that says, hey, you've done a good job. Why don't you just take the rest of the night off? There's just little things like that. But it's when you push outside of your comfort zone in runs like this that you have the most significant growth. Because I really believe that that same voice that tells you to stop on a long run is the same voice that gets in your way and tells you to stop when you start thinking about a big goal or dream, something in your personal life, something in your professional life. It's the exact same voice. So, I just experienced this comfort zone and this desire to stay in my comfort zone, but I was able to push through it. And I was able to complete the 18 miles last night, and that feels really good having that out of the way before I even really start my weekend on Saturday morning. So the other part that I mentioned is just with the Ironman Wisconsin this weekend. There, I talked about this yesterday, but there isn't really another event in my life that has taught me more about pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone than training for an Ironman. It is scary to sign up for it, pay that much money, and just really not know, can my body do this? Can I actually, swim 2.4 miles? Can I actually bike 112? Can I actually do a marathon at the end of all of this? And then having, all of the physical obstacles that pop up over time, the mental hurdles. That was one of the most significant events that taught me about pushing outside of my comfort zone. And then another kind of funny thing happened this morning where after I read this quote about comfort zones, it was just top of mind and I was thinking about what I was going to podcast about. And then I checked my email this morning and I saw an opportunity that I now have of a mentor that reached out to me about a speaking event. And my first thought was, oh, no. There's no chance that I could be a speaker, or there's no chance that I should take advantage of this opportunity or show up at this type of event that he had invited me to, because that is my comfort zone. But just thinking about that quote, this is exactly the type of thing that would push me outside of my comfort zone, and this is where, as the quote says, life would begin. This is where things would really start to develop. So it's just really interesting. The more that you have this quote in the back of your mind, the more that you're going to see opportunities to push outside of your comfort zone. And I think if you're like me, there's probably just all of these examples where you're not even aware of the types of things that you're doing on a daily basis where you're just staying in your comfort zone. And that's why I wanted to share this quote with you today. So, life begins when you break free from your comfort zone. Life begins outside of your comfort zone. And if you start to have that be in the top of your mind, then I want you to start to look for those opportunities where you have an opportunity to stay within your comfort zone or push past it. So, as I'm bringing it back to you, I just want to remind you of the quote, and I want you to start to look for those opportunities where you can either stay within your comfort zone or you can break past that fear, that self-doubt, that little voice in your head and see what that does for you. So that is my message for today. I hope that that helps. If you found any sort of value in it, would you please consider leaving a 5-star review? Honestly, I think it might be broken. I haven't gotten any 5-star reviews in a couple of days or a week. So could somebody just test it out, leave a 5-star review? Let's just make sure that that is still working. So that, my friends, is what I have for today. And until next time, I'll talk to y'all later.